Doing a quick test here. Make sure I'm streaming. Yeah, looks like I'm live. Looks like I'm trying to be live. Yeah, okay. Make sure I'm streaming. Yep, everything's working. Okay. I'm going to put that dark. And oh crap, I should have copied the URL. And I will put this up on Facebook. Alright, so we got about 5 minutes here. So while that's going on, I'll just share some quick pictures of yesterday's open house before we get to the training net. There's yours truly at WX4MRX. This is the WX4MRX weather ham station. Down here's a map of all the districts that we cover within the county warning area of Morristown. These radios here, there's 3 of them. They are FT8900s, I believe. Yaesus. They used to be Alenkos, but now they're Yaesus. You have an ICOM HF rig back here in the back. Back here in the back area behind me is a APR station, but it's not functional right now. Right here is a 220 radio, and the antenna is not working right now either. So just to give you a brief idea of what the ham shack looks like at Morristown at the weather service. And this is where some of the partners were set up. TVA was over here in the corner. I don't know who was out here on the tent, because I was at the ham shack throughout the entire event. I ducked away for about 15 minutes to get a potty break and go check how Dale was doing back here in the back. That's the communication trailer that he was in. Yeah, here's another view of the ham shack, and you can see up here WX4MRX. This is right before the event. I took this shot of the front of the weather service office. Of course, there's the big Doppler radar in the back. That big tower in the back is where all the ham antennas are. I think that big long one here is one of the antennas. And that, I don't know if it's that beam or this, one of these beams here is what they use to communicate to Chattanooga. There's a beam antenna on here that they use to communicate to the Chattanooga repeaters. And let's see, were there any other pictures I took? Yeah, this was setting up right before the event. And this is inside the National Weather Service office. So I took a panorama right before.
K24 DIJ, we'll be monitoring 94.
WB4GBI. There's Ken. And this is the main facility where all the meteorologists operate out of. It's kind of a horseshoe shape. They have inside and outside monitors and workstations. They had some boards set up, and they They have their monitors in the back here showing radar and graphical data that they use. This one here has security cameras showing walls outside. And there's Jeremy. Jeremy Buckles, WX4JLB. He grew a third leg while I was doing my panorama. Kind of looks like a horse. Anyway. Oh Lord, we got 2 minutes here, so get ready for the net. And share this on YouTube. Share this out on online if you want. Share it on X and Facebook. And here, I know Ken will be a part of this, so I'll go ahead and check him in. Why is my computer so daggum slow? Go ahead and check him in there. Here's my cheat sheet for doing the net. It says K4HSM East Tennessee SKYWARN Training Net will begin in 1 minute. K4HSM WX4 TYS. And Ken, I got you checked in. I heard you. So, by the way, we're on YouTube as well. I've got a YouTube link on our Facebook page, so I'm live streaming there tonight, trying this out to see how it works.
Okay, roger that. Good. Yeah. Alrighty. Well, KQ4DIJ will be sitting here listening in.
We're on 146.940 WB4GBI repeater in Knoxville. Attention all stations, attention all stations. This is K4HSM, assuming net control is WX4TYS in Knoxville for the East Tennessee SKYWARN Training Net on 146.940 repeater. All traffic will be directed via net control. This net is open to anyone and everyone. Tonight's net will consist of announcements and a brief training segment. We will take check-ins throughout the net. Are there any SKYWARN coordinators on frequency from District 5? If so, please check in and indicate if you have any announcements. My posse is not representing. Okay, nothing heard. Are there any other SKYWARN coordinators or net control stations on frequency? If so, please check in now and indicate if you have any announcements. This is WX4 TYS.
This is Kilo Quebec 4 Whiskey Foxtrot Mike from District 4 SKYWARN Coordinator.
Okay, acknowledging KQ4 WFM, I believe that's Gene in Roane County. And got you as District 4 Coordinator. Thank you for checking in. Any announcements?
No announcements at this time.
All right. Thank you much. Any others? Okay, nothing heard. I'll put in a couple announcements. This coming first weekend of December, which is, if I can pull up my calendar, slated to be the 6th and 7th Eastern Time. It'll be all day, all 24 hours of December 7th, officially Universal Time. but it starts from 7 o'clock Eastern Time to 7 o'clock Eastern Time Saturday, from Friday the 6th to Friday the 7th. There will be SKYWARN Recognition Day. It's a special event held on the first weekend, or first full weekend, or first full Saturday Universal Time in December. And it's just a special event where SKYWARN stations across the country, National Weather Service offices primarily, will be doing some outreach to commemorate the working agreement that we have with the National Weather Service and SKYWARN spotters in the ham radio community. So we'll try and have more details about that as we get them. It is being organized, but have nothing laid out just yet. But as soon as we do, we'll have it posted on our Facebook and on our website at East Tennessee, etskywarn.com. So in Eastern Time, it'll be from Friday, December 6th to at 7 o'clock Eastern Time till Saturday, December 7th at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. Typically a 24-hour event, depending on how much manpower we had. Last year, we ran it from about 7 o'clock Eastern till about noon, 1 o'clock Saturday afternoon due to a manpower shortage. So hopefully we'll have a little bit more operational capacity this year.
Quebec for Tropical Bravo monitoring.
Station calling, you sound like you're off frequency, but stand by. We'll be taking check-ins here momentarily. All right, we'll start taking check-ins. Please check in one at a time, and when you do, please give your call sign phonetically. International phonetics are preferred, and then your name and your location. We'll start with some short time stations, so if you just plan on checking in and out, just let us know that you're there. We'll start taking those check-ins first. Again, one at a time. Call sign, name, and location. This is WX4 TYS standing by.
Late priority, AA4WX.
Go ahead.
Sorry I'm late, Greg. Thanks for your live stream, I remembered it. This is Josh, AA4WX at home here in Maryville. Assistant Coordinator, District 5.
Okay, what's your priority?
Well, you always call for coordinators up front, and I missed it.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's fine. I got you in there. Thanks for checking in, and hope the kids are doing okay. We'll stick around if you can. We're gonna try and talk about the open house and how things went yesterday on that. With that, any other short time stations? Call now. WX4TY, stand by.
Whiskey Bravo 4, Golf Bravo, India.
Acknowledging Tim, WB4GBI. Sounds like you're mobile, Tim. Having a no fooey day after drive around town.
That was definitely a no fooey night at the office last night. Yeah, we had to make a trip out of town to pick up something today. Just getting back in. I won't be here for the duration of the net. Thanks for letting me check in. WB4GBI mobile.
All right, Tim. Thank you much, and appreciate you letting us use the repeater tonight. Any other short time stations?
India 4, November Bravo 9.
Okay, that one caught me off guard. Kind of came in a little late on the call sign. I think it was an India 4. Go ahead. Give us your call again, and where are you located?
India, November Bravo 9. KI4 NB. I'm located
Oh, okay. Thanks for checking in there. A little bit of a delay there, but it keeps cutting off the first part of your transmission. But yeah, you're in Blunttville. That puts you out in West Tennessee, doesn't it, or Northeast Tennessee? I'm trying to remember. My geography's not too great with places I'm not that familiar. Blunttville.
Repeater. I'm located halfway between Bristol and Kingsport.
Tri-Cities. Okay. Okay, great. Yeah, that's you're up there near Tri-Cities. Okay, thanks. Thanks for checking in there. Good to hear that the repeater's making it up there into the Tri-Cities tonight. We're going to talk a little bit about some tropospheric ducting that occurred yesterday as well during the open house. So stick around for that if you can. But thanks for checking in there. KI4NBM got you in there from Blunttville. Any other stations short term? Gotta drink some water.
Kilo Bravo 4 Tango Quebec Oscar.
Oh my gosh. Acknowledging Kilo Bravo 4 Tango Quebec Oscar. Name and location?
Tammy, and right next to Tim.
I knew it was Tim's wife. I knew it was you. I couldn't. I'm sorry. I couldn't remember your first name. It just went out. It escaped me. But thanks for checking in tonight, Tammy. Appreciate you. Keep him in line if you don't mind.
It's not easy, but I try.
My wife would readily agree with you on that one. When it comes to me. So anyway, thanks, Tammy. Appreciate you being in there. Any other short-term stations?
KQ4 Papa India Juliet Mark Sevier County.
Acknowledging Mark KQ4PIJ in Sevier County. Thanks for checking in tonight. We got another one close to you there. We got Ken. I know he's in there. He's in Boyd's Creek. KQ4DIJ. So, Ken, I've already got you checked in, but you can come in there and make it official here in a moment. But anyway, thanks for checking in tonight, Mark, and appreciate you being there. Any others?
This is Kilo India 4 Charlie Papa Lima Anthony Knoxville.
Acknowledging KI4CPL at Anthony in Knoxville. Got you checked in. Thank you much, and appreciate you checking in tonight. Any others?
Kilo Bravo 4 Tango Juliet. This is Erica, and I'm in Jacksboro.
Acknowledging Erica, KB4TJJ in Jacksboro. Good to meet you yesterday, and thanks for reaching out to me today on email. I hope to talk to you soon. Get some more representation up there in the Campbell County area. So thanks again. All right, we're on short-term stations, but we'll go ahead and start doing general check-ins as well. Same criteria: call sign, phonetically, international phonetics are preferred, followed by your name and location. And next check-in, please, one at a time. Okay, got Kilo Quebec 4 Papa Golf Bravo. I think that was James in Maryville. James, your signal's noisy. I don't know. I don't know if it's. It sounds like it's off frequency, like it may be like 5 kcs off or something. But I can hear. I was able to copy you and get your signal. Sounded slightly robotic, so if you can check that out and see if just make sure your radio's set to the right tone, or excuse me, the right frequencies. The right should be 146.940, 146.340 is the input. you just check to make sure your radio's set correctly. It just has that distinct sound whenever somebody's off frequency, is what it sounds like to me. It may not be, but just want to let you know that. Next check-in, please.
Kilo 9, Lima, Tango Romeo, K9 LTR, Tom, from Gray, Tennessee. I've been visiting in Sevierville. Can you check me in and out, please?
Acknowledging K9 LTR Tom in Sevierville from Gray. Got you in there. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you checking in with us tonight. Any other check-ins? Short term or otherwise, call now.
Good evening, Greg. K0GYL Kilo 0 Golf Yankee Oscar in Kingston, Roane County.
Acknowledging Bart. K0GYL in Roane County. Got you in there. Thank you, sir. And good to hear you tonight. Next check-in.
Kilo, Quebec 4, Delta, Virginia, Juliet,
There's Ken.
down in the jungle, Ken at Boyd Creek. I'll make it official, Greg.
Thank you, sir. Good to hear you tonight, and hope you're doing well. Good to see you yesterday as well. And same with Bart. And anybody else I may not have acknowledged here that came to the event yesterday. It was great to see everybody. We had such an amazing turnout. We'll talk about that here shortly. Next check-in.
Whiskey 4, November, Oscar Echo. This is Larry, Knoxville, Tennessee. This is Josh.
Okay, we got 2 stations in there. Let me get the first one here. W4NOE, I think it was. Can you finish your check-in, please?
Yes, this is Whiskey 4, November, Oscar Echo, Larry from Knoxville.
Okay, Larry, got you in there. Thank you, sir. And Josh, heard you in there, but I didn't get your call or your location. Go ahead.
Kilo, Quebec 4, Whiskey Echo Delta in Maynardville, Tennessee.
Okay, Kilo Quebec 4 Whiskey Echo Delta. Is that a QSL?
Yes.
Oh, this is Kilo Quebec 4, Papa Golf Bravo. Well, I was off frequency, so I'm set now.
Yeah, you sound much better there. Thank you, sir. Got you in there this time. Thanks again. Josh in Maynardville, got you in there as well. Thanks, and appreciate you checking in. And thanks again, James, for clarifying there. Any other check-ins? Got to take a sip of water.
This is Kilo Golf 4, Golf Mike Uniform, KG4 GMU Norm in West Knoxville. Good to finally meet you yesterday. The voice and the face.
Well, the voice ain't that great, and the face is even worse. But good to meet you too, Norm, and glad you were able to make it out. Next check-in, please. Yeah, I have the face for radio, folks. So perfect face for radio.
K6 QBA here in Lenore City.
Kilo 6. I'm sorry, I didn't catch the suffix on that. I got you in Lenore City. Go ahead, finish off the suffix, please.
Yeah, good evening. It's Kilo 6, Quebec, Victor, Alpha.
Awesome.
John here, Juliet, Oscar, Nancy in Lenore City.
Got you in there, John. Thanks. I thought that was it, but sometimes my hearing doesn't cooperate with me, so just wanted to make sure that we had you in there covered. Thanks again, and appreciate you checking in. Any others?
Kilo, Quebec 4, Oscar, Quebec Lima, Dalton, visiting, I believe it's Fargate.
Could it be Farragut? West Knox County, possibly? Somewhere close to Lenore City?
Yeah, I figured that sounds
Yep, that's it. That's dead giveaway. I'm not from the area.
All good, and thanks for checking in. Sounds like you're traveling through here. Where are you from? Where are you headed?
Staying in the area for the week and visiting. I am from Logan County, Kentucky, which is just west of Bowling Green.
Well, that's interesting. Stay with us because we heard some stations on this repeater from Bowling Green yesterday while we were having an open house. So we'll talk about that here in a few minutes. And they came in just as loud and as clear as you were talking to me right now. They just nice temperature inversion causing tropospheric ducting is the official designation that I heard. Anyway, thanks again, Dalton, and welcome to the area. Next check-in, please.
WB4GBI repeater.
All right, nothing heard. Sorry, give me a quick second, folks. Sorry, gotta type in to get into the chat. Apparently I'm not on the chat. Alright, sorry about that. Had a little minor hiccup here. But wanted to talk a couple of events here tonight. The first one is the open house that was at the National Weather Service yesterday. It was held from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. and it was at the National Weather Service office in Morristown. And we had a guesstimation of about 600 people, give or take, that attended the event yesterday. We had several partners that were in attendance. I know TVA was in attendance, and I think the Morristown Police Department was there as well. Lakeway Amateur Radio Club was representing. They were also helping with parking and some of the communications for the event. If there's any others that were in attendance and you were there, I honestly didn't get to see it because I was at the ham shack for WX4 MRX, and I was there pretty much the entire time with a small break to go to the little technician's room. But we'll get into that here in just a second. Wanted to thank everybody that came out yesterday, and hopefully they were very informed about the operations of the Weather Service and how the weather's forecast in the area, and just how kind of a small area that it is, but it has such a big responsibility. And hope they enjoyed, especially you guys here, ham operators. Hope you got to enjoy the WX4 MRX ham shack. It's a nice little setup. 3 dual banders, 2 meter 440 FT8900s. Well, I guess those would be quad banders if I'm not mistaken. And there's a 220 rig that's non-operational right now due to, I think, the antenna's down on it. And there's an HF rig in use as well at that ham shack. And like I said, I was there for pretty much the duration at the WX4 MRX shack. Was demonstrating some of the capabilities of the shack, and got on the 9.4 repeater, and lo and behold, we had a band opening. Some tropospheric ducting was going on due to a temperature inversion, as I mentioned earlier. And we had stations, a couple of stations in Bowling Green, Kentucky, or near Bowling Green, Kentucky. I want to say it was Smithville. I had the sheet of paper with all the check-ins, and of course, now that I'm on the spot, I can't find it, which is about par for the course for me. But we had a couple of stations up in Bowling Green's. It was just north of Lebanon, Tennessee, on the Kentucky side of the state line there. And they were coming into the repeater just as 5.9 plus, and at one point, one of them was having a QSO with a good friend of mine, Chris, down in Huntsville, Alabama, just outside of Huntsville, in a little town called Toney, T-O-N-E-Y. And they were having a QSO through this repeater, talking to one another, and they were all just as loud and clear as if they were locals. So that was an interesting aside, along with some of the check-ins that we got coming in from this repeater primarily. We also worked a couple of stations on the 519 repeater in Mount Mitchell. And we had several youth in attendance. None of them were ham operators, but I got them on the air and let them talk to any station that was on the pretty much on this repeater. I think I had one talking to a ham in North Carolina, Hendersonville, North Carolina, on the 519, but everyone else was talking on this repeater. A couple of them were pretty outgoing, and a couple of others had mic fright, but overall they were pretty fascinated with how we, as ham operators, do operations for SKYWARN here for the National Weather Service in Morristown. Again, we guesstimated about 600 in attendance, and the way we figured that was we had somebody actually counting cars coming into the parking lot using a clicker, and they had just under 200. And then we couldn't include all the cars that were parked on the curb that had also come, and there were cars lined up and down the Commerce Boulevard there for quite a ways. And there were some vehicles in an adjacent parking lot, from what I understand. So we basically calculated about roughly 2 to 3 people per vehicle would give us about the somewhere between 500 and 600 was the rough estimate. Anybody want to give any? If anybody was in attendance, if they want to give any comments about the event yesterday, any critiques of it? Was it good? Was it bad? Was it above expectations? Below expectations? Right about? Any kind of discussion on that? Please call now. This is WX4TYS. Standing by. Alright, nothing heard. They're already making plans for another one. Don't know when that'll be. It's been about 8 years since the previous open house. They had one slated back in 2020, but a certain pandemic kind of shut that one down. All government offices were shut down for quite some time, and National Weather Service was not an exception on that one. In fact, ham operators were not allowed in the building due to government restrictions during that time. From about March of 2020 till about late 2022, I think, is when ham civilians, if you will, non-government employees were allowed back into Weather Service offices across the country. So hopefully it'll be sooner than 8 years before the next open house. But if they do get one scheduled and planned, we will certainly let everybody know and try and get you to make plans as soon as possible to attend the next one. If you missed out yesterday, you missed a great event. Of course, it was a beautiful day for it. Much better than the previous attempt, which was back in October, which was preempted due to a certain hurricane dumping a lot of water across upper East Tennessee and western North Carolina. So yesterday was a much better day for the event, and glad that everybody could come out. I'll be honest with you, it was a lot more people I thought that would attend because of the rescheduling, but turned out to be quite a good attendance showing up. All right, before we move on, is there any other check-ins that joined in late and want to check into the net? If so, please call now with your call sign, name, and location. One at a time, please.
Kilo Oscar 4, Victor Juliet Charlie, Roger in Northeast Blount County.
Boy. Let's see here. Okay, sorry about that. My transcribing utility did not want to transcribe the information. Roger, I hope I got this right. Kilo Oscar 4, Victor Juliet Charlie in Northeast Blount County. Is that a QSL?
That is affirmative.
All right, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Any other check-ins? Call now. WX4TYS District 5 SKYWARN Training Net.
Kilo Bravo 1 Uniform Mike Charlie, Ron in Granger County.
Acknowledging Kilo Bravo 1 Uniform Mike Charlie Ron in Granger County. Thank you for checking in tonight. Good to hear you. Any other check-ins? Sounds like I'm saying chickens instead of check-ins. Oh, that's a noisy one. Last station, it was nothing but noise. Can you try again? We'll see if we can pick you out. WX4TYS, standing by.
WB4.
Okay, copied partial call sign. I got Quebec 4. I'm assuming Kilo Quebec 4. Then a question mark. I had for the suffix. I had an echo on the end. Can you repeat it twice, and we'll see if we can pull you out there. You did sound a little bit better that time. Go ahead. Kilo Quebec 4. Okay. Okay, that last station did not copy anything on that last, if you were attempting, but we did get a partial call sign. If you can try again here shortly, we'll see if we can pull you out there. I copied Kilo Quebec 4 question mark echo, but if you want to try to, I'll stand by for one more attempt, and then we'll move on. And you can try again if you need to get into a better location. WX4TY is standing by. Is it Foxtrot Radio Echo FRE? Is that correct, or Sierra Radio Echo?
Greg, I copied Kilo Quebec for Sierra Radio Echo, but I've got that same question you do. Might be Foxtrot, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I know who that is. I know. I think they were at the event yesterday. Were you at the event yesterday, FRE? I think they were there. Or I talked to them. Maybe it's... Oh, that's... Okay, that's Bill. Okay, got you there, Bill. Okay, KQ4 Sierra Romeo Echo. You were one of the stations in... you were in Scottsville, Kentucky, near Bowling Green. Got you in there. It looks like the Tropo is still trying to get us in there. QSL? I knew that was... Okay. He's in Scottsville, Kentucky. That's a band opening, folks. Okay, Bill, if you're trying to get in there, it looks like the band is just up and down, but got you in there. And I knew that call sounded way too familiar, and that's the reason. So got you in there, and thanks for checking in with us, Bill. Hope you're doing well there in Scottsville. Try again here in a few minutes, and we'll see if conditions improve. They were really good yesterday morning, so hopefully they come back for you. I know there's a cold front. I think there's some bad weather that's moving through the Midwest right now, so that may be part of why we're hearing you tonight. Thanks again, Bill. It's WX4TYS standing by. Any other check-ins?
November Charlie 4 Sierra Charlie 4FC John, Swain County, North Carolina.
Yeah, we do have a band opening. Got you in there, John. NC2SC, North Carolina 2, South Carolina. Is that correct?
November Charlie 4 Sierra Charlie, North Carolina 4, South Carolina.
Yeah, that's correct. I don't know why I wrote 2 instead of 4, but yeah, I heard that, and I still got it wrong. All right, thanks a lot, John. Got you in there. Doing good tonight?
We're doing fine. I'm not DX opening there. You're like a local here in South Swain County, 3,200 feet.
Pulling up the DX map here. Yeah, roger that. Yeah, we're there's a little bit of a hum there in your signal, but other than that, I mean, I can tell that you're ducting, but that's about it. Just taking a quick look at our propagation map online, and yeah, there's a band opening. It looks like coming from the Carolinas into Tennessee. So take advantage of it while you can. Thanks for checking in there tonight with us, John, and good to hear you. Awesome. Yeah, we're having a training net. We do it the first Sunday of the month, minus holidays. So we'll try and we try to keep it on the first Sunday of the month. Like I said, in like 4th of July or something like that, we may have to preempt it. But good to hear you tonight, and take care of yourself. Any other check-ins, local or otherwise? WX4TYS.
Oscar 4, Juliet, Lima, Kilo, Freddie, Knoxville.
Acknowledging Kilo Oscar 4, Juliet, Lima, Kilo, Freddie, and Knoxville. QSL?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Roger that. And good to hear you tonight. Thank you, sir. And thanks for checking in. Any others? Swig of water. Josh, is my audio sounding okay on the YouTube? All right, back to the net discussion for tonight. One of the things I wanted to talk about, well, actually, let me bring this up because this is tied into it. Now, the discussion tonight is going to be on damage assessments that the National Weather Service does when there is a possible tornado or any kind of major damage situation. Now, the information that I got here is from the Nashville Weather Service. They are offering some Weather 101 online classes. So, if you Google Nashville Weather 101, you can go to the Nashville Weather Service office website. It's OHX, Oscar Hotel X-Ray, and you can sign up for online courses. They're offered through, I think it's GoToMeeting is the utility that they have for their classes, and it's a free software that you can use. But through the month of November and to the first couple of weeks of December, they're doing some online courses. Some of them start at 10 o'clock in the morning, some are at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and some are at 7 o'clock in the evening. These are Central Time, so it'll be 11 a.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Eastern, and 8 p.m. Eastern. Just depends on the class and the day. So, for example, tomorrow on Monday, November the 4th at 10 a.m. Central Time, 11 Eastern Time, they're offering a class on North American monsoons. Then Tuesday at 1 p.m. in the afternoon, Central Time, 2 p.m. Eastern. They're offering a class on severe storms. Then Wednesday, they call it The Basics, and that's from 10 a.m. Central, 11 Eastern. Then they have 2 classes on Thursday. One is at 10 a.m. Central, 11 a.m. Eastern for satellites. And then on the same day at 7 o'clock Central, 8 o'clock Eastern, winter weather. So that's for this week. And they're offering multiple classes at multiple times. It just depends. And there's a variety of topics. So there's flooding, tsunamis, global circulations, radar, rip currents, hurricanes, upper air soundings, and 3D observations. These are just some of the topics that they cover. So again, you can go to just Google Nashville Weather 101, and that'll take you to their website. It's I'll just spell it out here: weather.gov/ohx/weather101. And one of the classes they were offering was, it looks like they're not offering it again, but what they did offer was National Weather Service storm damage surveys, how they conduct damage surveys during or after a severe weather event. So we'll talk about that here in just a second. After I take a swig of water. And a couple of things they discussed was that they don't do the storm damage surveys until after the area has been cleared by the emergency service personnel. They don't want to get in the way of any emergency operations that are taking place. So sometimes you don't hear about a storm damage survey assessment for 48 to 72 hours after the event, typically because it's still an active situation and they're still trying to gather, still trying to do search and rescue or search and recovery operations in the affected areas.
W-E-4-G-B-I, repeater.
Now, what they do is they try to assess how severe the tornado, if it's a tornadic situation, how severe the tornado damage is. Now, sometimes what they'll do is they'll do a storm damage survey and they'll assess, was it a tornado? Was it straight line winds? Was it a downburst? Was it nothing? Something that was mistaken for a tornado, as the case can happen from time to time. So what they do is that in recent years, what they've done is taken advantage of drone capabilities, where they launch a drone into the sky to go and fly over the area to do their storm damage assessments. And with that aerial capability, it cuts down on the cost of having to rent a helicopter, for one thing, but also it allows them to access the damage area without interfering with emergency service operations, so that they can continue their damage or their search and recovery, search and rescue operations while they're doing the assessments from above using a drone. Now, they can ascertain if it's a tornado based on the damage, the damage pattern. If the damage pattern kind of looks like a swirling circular damage path, that's pretty obvious that it's a tornado. But sometimes you'll see like trees that are falling, they'll all fall in the same direction. And that could be indicating of a gust front, straight line winds that are moving at a high velocity from the front of the storm, pushing all the trees down in the same direction. So that could be sometimes misconstrued as a tornado. Other times you can see a damage structure where all the trees, and I'm using trees as an example here, but all the trees are kind of blowing outward from a center. So there will be like a center of a core of damage, and then you'll see trees or structures that are blown out from from that center, which would indicate a downburst, not a tornado, but has damaging winds similar to that of a tornado. When they do assess that a tornado has hit, they will try and use the enhanced Fujita scale for measuring tornado damage. The enhanced scale is derived from the previous scale of the standard Fujita scale. Fujita scale was just basically assessing how high the winds were based on the tornadic winds itself, but then the enhanced Fujita scale is not only using wind estimates, but it's also basing the damage from the structures on the ground as they come about doing the damage assessment to determine the strength of the tornado that came through. So in previous years, previous tornadoes, I can't remember the exact date that the enhanced Fujita scale was set in motion, but like in the 90s you would have heard of an F5 tornado or an F3 tornado, but after a certain time when it was adopted, now they call them EF tornadoes, EF1, EF0, EF4, etc. In the current derived scale, the operational scale, the EF number is based on a 3-second gust of wind in miles per hour. So it has to last at least 3 seconds in order for it to qualify as a certain level on the enhanced Fujita scale. From 65 to 85 miles an hour, if you had a gust of wind for 3 seconds or longer, it's an EF0. 86 to 110 miles per hour, 3-second gust or higher or longer, EF1. 111 to 135, EF2. 136 to 165, EF3. 166 to 200 miles an hour, EF4. Anything over 200 miles an hour for longer than 3 seconds, rated at an EF5. Now that's just the winds. There's also a damage indicator that is factored into the EF scales. I'm looking at the Storm Prediction Center website, and there are damage indicators that they have the wind scale. They also have the damage indicator scale. They actually have different structures labeled out. They got up to 28 different structures that are used in measuring the severity of a tornado. And there's not really a range scale on this damage indicator as far as like smallest structure to tallest structure or anything like that. It just seems to be a hodgepodge. But basically what they're doing is they are assessing the damage of what structures were on site when the tornado or presumed tornado struck the area. They can be like they have an indicator for small barns, farms, and outbuildings. 1 or 2 family residences like duplexes, small homes, well constructed homes, I would say. That's a damage indicator. They have a damage indicator for single wide mobile homes as well as double wide mobile homes. Those are 2 separate damage indicators. Then you have apartments and condos, townhouses, motels. You have small retail buildings, professional buildings like doctor offices or a branch bank, strip malls, a large shopping mall, a big box retail store like your Wally Worlds or Targets. You have a damage indicator for the automobile showrooms. Apparently that is a structure. Automotive service buildings, I guess your local mechanic. They have 2 different ones here for schools. One for a 1-story elementary school, and then a separate one for a junior or senior high school. I found that to be pretty interesting as well. Low-rise buildings from 1 to 4 stories, mid-rise buildings from 5 to 20 stories, and high-rise buildings that are over 20 stories tall. Each of these are 3 separate damage indicators. There's a few others here, including that of what's called a freestanding tower. I would assume that's a freestanding commercial tower, like what you have in some areas of the city here. You'll see some self-supporting towers that are used by commercial radio and broadcast services. And then you have one for transmission line towers as well. For trees, they have two separate categories: hardwood and softwood trees. Now, in each of these damage indicators, what they do is they'll go through a damage area. They will look and see what structures were there previously or should be there, depending on the level of damage. And then they will go through their damage indicator chart for that particular building. So, for example, if you're going down a street, let's take, for example, Sunbright. There was a tornado back in Sunbright back last year. So they had to go through downtown Sunbright. There were some buildings, professional buildings, I think there was a funeral home, and then there were some small retail buildings like fast food restaurants, motels, and such that were damaged or part of the damage path. So what they would do is, I'll just say that there's a small professional building here, like a doctor's office. So they will go in and they have a scale from 1 to 9. The lowest number is kind of the smaller level of damage, the smaller level of winds that could damage the structure, all the way to the number 9, which is the total destruction of the entire building. So for the Sunbright tornado, there was probably a loss of roof covering. There could have been some broken windows indicating, some skylights or interior structural damage. The exterior doors failed, something to that effect. There's actually descriptions on these levels of what kind of damage you're looking for. From a collapsed facade or a collapsed parapet walls to collapse of the entire structure, and again, total destruction of the entire building. So for the Sunbright tornado, we would say the exterior doors failed, the broken windows, loss of some of the roof covering, which would put it in the range from 78 miles an hour to about 118 miles an hour. They have a lower boundary, they have an upper boundary, then they have kind of an average in between the two boundaries, kind of right in the middle, that they can use. So it is judgmental. It is subject to observative levels of trying to gauge the severity of the damage. So it is somewhat subjective, but there is an official scale that they use, and so this way they can determine that the structure is was it an EF1 tornado, EF0 tornado, EF2 tornado, etc.
WB4GBI repeater.
And based on that scale, they would take that and go to the enhanced Fujita scale, which would put this tornado at about an EF1, upper EF0, lower EF1 category, based on that kind of structure's damage. Then, of course, you have structures like what happened in Joplin, Missouri, back a few years ago. The tornado that basically went through downtown Joplin, went and devastated the hospital, went right through the hospital basically, and damaged their high school. So I could take a look at the damage indicator here and find the hospital, which I know is on this list somewhere. Institutional building, a hospital, government, or university. And look at the damage scale on this one. And some of the more severe, the minor damage, the description of the damage, level 1 would be the threshold has visible damage. Level 2, loss of roof covering less than 20%. Damage to the tops, roofs and walls in what they call the penthouse area. Rooftop air conditioning equipment may have been torn off. That's level 3. Level 4 is broken glass in windows and doors, and it continues on. We'll go down to level 9, uplift of metal deck with concrete fill slab. Level 10, collapse of some top story exterior walls. And level 11, they actually go to 11 on this one. They crank this one up to 11 with significant damage to the building envelope, which did occur. Pretty much, if you remember it, the hospital was pretty much significantly damaged. So that would put the lower boundary at 178 miles an hour, the upper boundary at up to 268 miles an hour, with a mean average in between of about 210 miles an hour. And based on that information, that would put it at the EF5 level of the operational enhanced Fujita scale, because of the guesstimated winds, or I don't want to say guesstimated, but the estimated winds based on the significant damage that was brought to that particular hospital in Joplin. So that's just kind of an example of how they would rate storm damage assessments based on, they actually have a list of structures, and they have a level, a graduating level of severity based on the damage or destruction of that structure, and the estimation of the winds based on that level of damage. You know, there's other things to consider. How well built the structure was. They may even go through some of the architectural blueprints of the building to see how it was constructed. And based on that, they can determine if it was a well-built structure, then the upper boundary of those winds will be taken into effect. If it was a poorly built structure like Homestead in the Hurricane Andrew destruction of the, I think it was 1989, it was discovered from Hurricane Andrew that most of those structures in the Homestead area south of Miami were very shoddily built. A lot of corners were cut, and the destruction was very. It was monumental, in part because of the poor structure of many homes and buildings that were in the damage path. Do we have any questions or comments or any additional anything to add on to this discussion? Call now, WX4TYS. Forgot the ID. I committed a violation of part of
DIJ.
Okay, we got 2 in there. KQ4DIJ, you're first, and got you in there, Andrew.
Yeah, the kids moved down to Florida, and they rode out Milton. And I'm learning about the style of homes, as you mentioned. They have a Cat 5 home, which will withstand 150-mile-an-hour winds. And then another friend of ours that lives there told me they left their home, because they have an older home that was a Cat 1, and went to a person down the street that built a new home that was a Cat 5 home, so they felt a little bit safer. The difference was they got flooded like on an island and couldn't get out of the place. The roof lasted and everything, but they couldn't get out of the house for a few days because they were flooded around them. So there is a difference on that.
Yeah, Roger. Yeah, they take. Yeah, I mean, you know, if something like that happened here, they would. I'm sure they would take that into account as well. But yeah, Florida's a whole different ballgame when it comes to how those homes are constructed. I can test that from personal experience. Andrew, got you checked in there. Go ahead, sir.
Hey, thanks so much, Greg. Good evening to you and everybody else here on the net. My apologies for being late. I was taking care of some other family obligations. I just got down here to the ham shack.
Unforgivable.
I'll go and check in real quick and just tell you I appreciate you calling the net. I got my ears on now, as they say, and I'm standing by, and I'm looking forward to some good dialogue. Go ahead.
Now, Roger. Have you personally been through any your emergency services? I know that. So, have you been through any areas that were like immediate in the immediate aftermath of a possible tornado, and any kind of like when you're going through an area and you're doing search and rescue or search and recovery? Have you done anything like that in your work?
I have. It doesn't happen too often, but yeah, I've been through some areas here in East Tennessee. After tornadoes came through. Thankfully, it seems like it's that's been a while ago. We've not really had any bad ones I've been deployed on, thankfully.
Yeah, Roger that. Yeah, and again, depending on how well built the structure is, and they say sometimes they may have to go through historical blueprints if they can get access to them, to see how the building was constructed, and what they may even go through some archival data to see what the criteria was to get these structures built, what regulations were in effect. So that's something else that they do tend to consider when they're considering the destruction of a building or the damage that's been brought to a building. And sometimes it's quite obvious. They'll see some of the damage laid out, and they can tell based on that if they were using proper building techniques for that period of time, depending on how old the building is. So, any other questions or comments or adding to the discussion? We'll stand by, and we'll take some check-ins here in just a second. Still a little bit of a band opening. All right, nothing heard. Any other late check-ins that wish to call now? We'll stand by and take it. Check in one at a time with call sign, name, and location.
Kilo Quebec for Papa Oscar Golf. This is Randall down in Athens.
Okay, Randall, got you in there. I actually was hearing another station on my output frequency. So I think I may be hearing some tropo from possibly another repeater. But got you in there, Randall, from Athens. Good to hear you tonight. Any other check-ins? All right, nothing heard. Okay, hopefully we've had some good information provided tonight, and we'll try and put an update on etskywar.com, our website and Facebook group, and we'll go ahead and complete the training segment for this evening. And before we close the net, are there any last second check-ins that wish to come in? If so, please call now. One last call. All right, nothing heard. From anybody else that's still in there, any other questions or comments or discussions that they wish to bring up? We'll stand by for that as well.
WB4GBI repeater.
Comment, K0GYL.
Yeah, go ahead, Bart.
I don't know about you, but I am really glad to see all these KQ4 call signs that are popping up. That means
a whole lot more hams in the area.
Yeah, Roger, there was a few of them at the Hamfest, good Lord, the open house yesterday. Well, there was a Hamfest somewhere. I think it was down in Georgia. But, yeah, did meet quite a few of the KQs yesterday. So, yeah, more and more coming in new to the sport of radio. And we certainly appreciate them. And just one of the things I did discuss yesterday during the when I was at the WX4MRX Ham Shack is that SKYWARN is not a ham radio thing; it's a public service thing. It's just that ham radio has one of the more organized and cooperative efforts that the Weather Service uses as a branch of obtaining spotter reports. SKYWARN spotter training is available to everybody. It could be first responders, it could be public service officials, government officials, private sector people, police, fire, your next door neighbor, yourself, whomever. It's available to pretty much everybody to take either online or in person. But having a ham radio license just kind of helps you as a ham operator to relay your reports to the National Weather Service via a SKYWARN net that may be taking place in your community. We also encourage you to use MPing, M-P-I-N-G. It's an app that you can get on your smartphone. It's free, and you can download it and submit your spotter reports to the National Weather Service. It'll go to a server in Oklahoma, and then it gets relayed to the appropriate Weather Service office. I don't know about the delay in response times, to be honest with you, but they do get that weather report. As to how fast they get it, I honestly don't know. But I do recommend that you have that on your phone in case, for some reason, you don't have a radio handy. Anything else there, Bart, that you wanted to throw in there?
Nope, that's all I got to say. Gene is having a bit of 3-week-old being a ham mic fright, so otherwise she probably has some comments or two. But that's all I got. Gazer, GYL.
Roger that. Well, she's going to be the coordinator. She's going to have to get over that mic fright real quick, though. Have her talk to me for a couple of hours. I'll bore her to tears, and she'll be like, okay, I'm done with ham radio. Anyway, good to hear you tonight, Bart, and tell her we appreciate her checking in. And hopefully she'll check in next time. And tentatively, we are putting that at Sunday, December the 1st. It falls on a Sunday, so that is tentatively our next District 5 SKYWARN Training Net, and we will actually be able to give information about SKYWARN Recognition Day. We should hopefully have the gory details about it on that particular net, so be sure to tune in for that one. And again, that'll be Sunday, December the 1st at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, 7 o'clock Central for those in tropospheric ducting land who may be able to check into the net. And with that, we'll go ahead and sign. Well, thank everybody for checking in. I had 25 check-ins, it looks like. Excuse me. And we appreciate everybody checking in tonight. I'd like to thank also Tim Berry, WB4GBI, for the use of the repeater. Be sure to visit our website at etskywarn.com. You can also go to .net or .org for the latest information on further events. And we also have a Discord server. You can find out information on that at the website as well. We're now returning the repeater to normal use. This is K4HSM. Thanks, everyone. Have a good rest of the night.
73 Scrag, Kilo Quebec, 4 Papa Golf Bravo, signing out.
7-3. Now let's see if the Tropo comes into play. Let's see here. All right. This is me, folks.
Great net tonight. KQ4DIJ will be clear tonight.
So, hopefully y'all enjoyed the live stream. It was just kind of a test to see how this works. Hopefully next time, if you can't check in via the ham radio, check in with us on YouTube. So with that, we'll sign off. Y'all take care. Maybe. Oh, no. There's a button that says stop streaming. I'm using OBS, so I haven't figured it out yet. See ya.